Right, I'm going to start doing a test on this engine, on the Deuce, my project bike. I've pulled the plug out. I'm going to be taking these like cover things off that go around the spark plugs. They can be a bit tricky, depends how long they've been in. I'll just set this up and hopefully I'll be able to get you to see. Right, if I zoom in a little bit. Right, if you see in the mirror there, down the hole, you can see it's an Allen head bolt in there. So that's the same on. Lock my camera so I can't move it. It's the same on that one. If I can get it in position. That one's not as easy to see, but it's the same. There's two. I'll just zoom back out a bit. And what I'm going to do is take them covers off, and on both of them. Then take the plugs out. And there's a couple other things to do, which I'll tell you when I get there. And then we're going to do a compression test. And we'll do front and rear cylinders, and hopefully they'll be the same. As I say, when I rode the bike home, it seemed to run really well. Didn't seem to be any problems, so I'm hoping that it's going to be fine. So, but yeah, Allen key in. You've got to make sure that your bolts stay in very good condition, because if they fill up with crud or they start to rust, these can be a frigging nightmare to get off. The likelihood is when I start putting all this thing back together, I probably won't bother putting these back on. And as you can see, they can be a pain in the ass to get off. That's, you can see, that's the little Allen head screw that comes out. Just a tiny little thing. But as I say, if them get rusty or shit in there, or you round that hole there where the Allen key goes in, if you round them off, it's a fucking nightmare to get them off. So, see, this one actually feels, it's coming undone, this one, but it does actually feel as if it is actually got a damaged hole where the key goes in. Just doesn't feel like nice and tight like an Allen key should. And if you hear some strange noises, it's my dog. She seems to go to sleep flat out, never a bother. The second I switch camera on, she starts. Yeah, I mean, some folk probably like them, but once you get these adapters, these go on top of the head bolts with the threaded hole in top, and that is damaged, that one. I've just if I can be able to show you this in. I'll just zoom back out a bit. That's the cover thing. As I say, I don't personally don't see the point of them. But yeah, that I'll see if I can zoom in on this a bit. Don't know if you can see that. Oh, a bit too far. If you can see there, that is, although it's still got the shape to it, which was lucky I managed to get out, but you can see it's actually starting to go. And if, as I say, if they go and they're tight when it goes, you're going to have a right struggle to get them off. The covers that are on, they go on with little grub screws. That's the cover that goes over the head bolt. As I say, when I'll probably get some head bolt covers, give them a clean up with a bit of a wire brush. But I probably will just get some covers for the head bolts and not bother with them cover, that big cover that I've just taken off. Right, and what I'll do is I'll just knock you off for a minute. I'll take the rear one off, and then I'll come back and we'll get on to the next part of it. Right, this is the rear cylinder, and that's the adapter that this weird cover thing bolts to. And what I was on about when I was taking the front one off, about if the bolts go tight and knacker up, well, the bolts on here, sorry, the grub screws in there are that tight that I actually snap the Allen key when I come to loosen it. So I'll spray some stuff in there at some point. I don't desperately need that off at the minute, but it will be coming off eventually, and I'll film it how I do it. If I can loosen them up with a little bit of heat and a bit of like Miracle Tool liquid, that'll make life a lot easier. But if it doesn't work, there is other ways which we can get these off. So as I say, when I come to take it off, I'll film it and show you what the crack is. But that's what I was on about. As I say, that's what's left of my Allen key. So that's why I don't really like putting these sort of things on. I don't mind the little chrome covers, because when I get them, usually I'll buy my own, the type I like, and I put stainless grub screws in, and I also put anti-seize on the threads. So when you come to take them off, usually they come off okay, but these have obviously never had an out like that on. So they've seized, they've gone tight anyways. Right, so continuing on, what we've got to do, if I just put that up there, oh, move that spark plug out of the way. You need to disconnect your fuel supply. Now this is an injection model, this one, for some reason. Normally a bike of this age would have been a carb, but apparently the injection was an option, and this one's got injection on it, which is not something I would have opted for myself, but such is life, you know. But we need to disconnect the fuel, take this cover off, unplug the coil, take the plugs out, and once that's done we'll screw the compression tester in and we'll crank her over, and we'll see what the compression is in front and rear cylinders. So we'll start by taking this fuel line off. Now most folk will probably know how to get these off, but for those that don't, basically just push that chrome bit there, pushes up, and it just comes apart, just pulls out. See, it builds up a bit of crud in there over time, and what I'll normally do is I'll take the, actually there's usually a seal in there which doesn't seem to be there. I'll check that over later. But unplug your fuel line, which, as I say, you just push that chrome bit up and then your line will pop out, and when it goes back in, obviously, I mean, I'll show you it when it goes back in, but you push that up and push that in and pull that down, give that a tug to make sure it's clipped into place properly. So, right, and I'll just knock you off a minute, and I'm just going to get a little rag and clean up a couple of bits of spilt petrol, so I'll be back in a sec. Right, I've just had a bit of a nosy up this try and zoom in on that. Oh, wrong there. Right, up there there's a rubber seal at the top, and I don't know if I can pick them up, but around the edge there's, like, you know, I was saying there should be a seal in that bit there. There isn't, because after I switched the camera off, I'm thinking to myself, there isn't actually a seal on there. That's where it clips in. There's like little bearing sort of ball things that when you push it up, the balls drop into there and click in, and when that cover comes down it stops the balls going back, so you can't pull it out. So yeah, there isn't a seal on that, like I said originally. That's just me getting myself mixed up. The seal is in the top, and when you turn that, when you push it in, the keep it up in the camera view, that pushes, you see right in the centre of there, there's like a pin, and that lets the fuel through. So that's sealed. When you push that back in, the centre of it pushes the pin up, and which allows the fuel to flow through. So I've mopped up the couple of little drips that came off it. When obviously you're gonna get a drip when you unplug it. That's inevitable. Right. So the next thing, I'll zoom you back out a bit. The next thing I'm going to do is take this cover off, which is, I can't see, sod all. Just get a torch. Yeah, as I thought, just one little, I think it's a 5/16 bolt, as in the spanner size. So I'll just knock you off a sec, I'll just get a spanner. I'll be back in a minute. Right, got spanner, so I'll undo this bolt. Looks like that's going to be tight, that last thread. Right, this is where I find out there's another one. Phew. All I'm wanting to do is get this plug off the coil, and it seems that there's another bolt behind here, so I'll just knock you off for a sec. Right, I've just had the mirror in the back of here. There isn't another bolt. I thought it's strange when I was saying I think there's a bolt in there, but I think it's a case of, because I noticed that these haven't got the slot in it like some of them have. You pull the whole thing off, so I've got to take the plug leads off. Oh, that was a bit tight. That's it. That's your cover off. Just put that down under there. And that exposes your coil and allows you to, I'll just unclip you a second. Allows you, where's my torch? To get to, oh yeah, there. There's a wire goes into the back of the coil, and if I can hold this thing steady and still see what I'm doing and get my finger in there. Right, there's a clip. That's my thumb you'd think get. Right, there's a clip just where my finger is here. Just there. There's a clip. Just push that. I can't do this one-handed. I'll put you back on here. And we'll get see if I can get in at an angle you can see. Right, so plug, push the clip out and just pull, and that's that unbolted. Just stick the clip somewhere out at way so it's not earthing itself out anywhere. And the next thing is whip the plugs out. So I'm just going to pull you back out of the way a bit. Zoom out. And I'll just, I'll get sorted with the plug socket, so I'll knock it off for now, I'll come back in a sec. Right, got my plug socket. Oh, these plugs weren't overly tight. Plugs don't actually looking too bad in it, as in burn wise. Right, I'm just going to have a look down the cylinder, see if I can see out. Pistons must be down because I can see now. Right, next thing is get my compression tester, which really I should have had out already. Right, you put your adapter in, and then you screw compression tester into your adapter. And this is an old baby, this. And you've got bar on the inside and PSI on the outside. And realistically what you want to be looking at is somewhere up, anywhere from 140 to sort of 160. If you get higher, it could just mean that you've got like high compression pistons or something like that in it. But if you get lower, then you've got a problem. So just get the key and knock the alarm off. Not with that one on. Just look around under the key. Oh, dumbass. Right. Turn it on, and hopefully that's not pissing petrol everywhere. No, there's no petrol coming out of there, so you know it's got a good seal. Right, so what I'll do is I'll try and get this in a position. I don't want to loosen it. Right, when you do your compression test, you open your throttle full up. If I can reach the freaking thing from here. Right, open the throttle full up and just press the start button. And as soon as you see the pointer stop, I'll just try and zoom in a bit more. Right, that there if that's 150, that's 200 up there. 150, 160, 170, 180, 192. So I've got 170 psi, just under 12 bar of compression in the rear cylinder. So I'll just zoom you back out. So what I'll do, always release your pressure out your compression before you undo it. And then we'll do exactly the same for the front. Now you might think to yourself, oh, 170 is really good, which it is if it was a standard motor. But if your motor's been tuned, you've got to always remember that if you're going to have low compression, the likelihood is it'll be on the rear cylinder, will be the low one, because that's the one that gets the heat. Right, so I'll have my tripods in play, that's why I'm walking round the bike. So I'll do this again, try and get that so you can see it. Right, that's where it was before, just under the 12, which is there. And I'll zoom in again. I'll try and keep it on. Right, you'll have to, I can't see the camera at the minute and I'm having to reach up to the throttle. So, same thing, full throttle, press the start button. And we have there 150 psi, but I could actually feel that's not in properly. Right, I'm just going to knock you off for a second because I'm going to have to sort this out. Zoom back out. You can see there. You can see that moving there. The adapter's not in properly. So I'll just knock it off for a second and then I'll come back. Right, I've just redone the rear cylinder. And as you can see there, it's at 150, the same as what the front was. So I haven't used this for quite a while, and I'm just wondering if it was summit. I don't know why it went up to 170, but I've basically, since I switched the camera off more than a minute ago, you notice I've got the fuel line back in as well, because all of a sudden it popped and started leaking. I think that seal needs changed. But I did the front again and it came up at 150. So I took it out, put it in the back, did that and it came up at 150 on the back. So I've released the pressure, did it again and it come up at 150 again. So what I'll do is I'll do it again. Full throttle. Right, and as you can see there, it's come up at the 150. The 150 being, I don't know if you can see it because of the glare, I'll try and zoom in a bit on it. Right, we're into the next day now. I lost the battery last night, as in it went flat, and when I went to get one of my other batteries, they were both flat, so I've charged all three batteries up now. But basically, leaving off, or starting up where I left off, I haven't done naught else apart from, obviously I've put my plugs back in, but I did another compression test on each cylinder, and basically it was coming up equal on both. So if I bring that up there, That's the compression testing. Just see there in the small writing at the top, that's 150 psi. And now front and rear cylinders are both exactly the same. I'm not 100% sure why it went to 170 on when I first did the rear one, but it's 150 on each, and I've put the plugs back in. Another thing I would recommend is, if you can, disconnect your power to your fuel pump, because what happened, as you know, I had the fuel line disconnected, and I switched the bike on, and it pressurised the system because obviously the pump was still working, but then it just started dribbling petrol out. It made a little pop noise, so the pressure was obviously building up too much. It doesn't leak when you plug it back in, even when you switch it on, but no, it'd be a good idea to knock your power off to your pump, disconnect your fuel line. The only reason I do that, I don't think you have to do it, it's not written in stone that it has to be done that way. It's just I don't like the fact that you've got two open cylinders and you're injecting fuel in when you're trying to do a compression test, so it's going to be blowing fuel out through the cylinders, and it only takes a spark, and you have a little fire on the go. So if you can, just knock off your fuel. If you're on a carb model, you just turn the tap off. It's as simple as that. But with it being the injection, it's got fuel pump in tank. So right, that's it for that. Anyways, the compression's fine. Anything sort of 140 upwards, sort of 140, 155 range on a standard engine is good, really good. And that's this is basically equal. It's, if you wanted to get finicky, you could probably say it's like in between 151 and 152 on each cylinder, but I'm just calling it 150 straight for both. So the compression side of things is fine. So what I'll do next is I'll knock you off, move you around to the side, and we're going to take the cover off on the points, and we'll have a look at the cam chain tensioner shoes, and see if they're worn, and if they are, obviously we'll replace them, but if they're not that bad, I'll just leave them and just keep an eye on them over time. So I'll knock you off for now and move you into a different place. Right, I'm going to be taking this cover off, and I thought that I was going to have to take the exhaust off, but looking at it, I can get it all the bolts, and to be fair, I started cracking one or two and then realised I hadn't put the camera on, so I'll just continue taking these off. Can't remember which ones I actually loosened off now. Obviously them ones. Not that one. And before I go any further, I'm just going to knock you off a minute. I'm going to get some an oil tray underneath. Obviously when I take cover off there'll be some oil come out of it, so I'll just be a sec. Right, I've got some oil soaks in a tray underneath the bike now. So when I knock this off and the oil decides to come out, it's not just going to go all over the spot. I don't know if I'm blocking your view here with my head, but that seems to be everything loose. And when all this eventually goes back together, there'll be new screws and stuff, bolts and that going in it. Plus I'll run a tap in threaded holes just to clean the threads out. This is where your ball end Allen keys come in handy. With the ball on the end, you can get them on at an angle. Makes life easier. Right. Oh, and there comes the oil out the bottom. You can see it dripping there at the bottom. That actually came off a bit easier than I thought it was gonna. Lift that out. Stick it up into there. Right, I'll just grab my torch, I'll be back in a sec. Right, I'll get a bit of a zoom in on here. Right, as you can see there, that's the shoe. So, if I can get these on, hopefully I'll be able to pull that away. And there's actually very, very little wear on that. I don't know how well you saw, so let me try and get this round a bit so you can see maybe get a better view of the actual the wearing surface, if I can find the frigging thing again. Right. Right, I'll pull that away. There, you can see on there, there is wear, but nothing significant, nothing worth worrying about. I'll put that back. There's also a shoe in there, which is hard to see in there. I won't be able to get in there. Well, I'll just lift you off here a second. If I've just altered anything there. Right, in the top, keep that. Right, you can just see the orange bit there. That's the rear cam chain shoe. So I'll give that a bit of a check. I've got a tiny little mirror that I can get in there. I won't be able to take that wrong way. I won't be able to film it because obviously for you to see anything, actually see anything properly, I need to hold the camera. But checking that top shoe, I can't hold the camera and hold both my tools at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll knock you off for a minute and I'll check this top shoe tensioner. Sorry, tensioner shoe, and then I'll come back. Right, I've checked the tensioner in there, the tensioner shoe inside there. It's a bit fiddly, but it can be done. And that's basically the same as that one. Hardly any wear on it. There is wear, you'd expect that, but not a lot. So basically what I'll do now is I'll put the cover back on, just put a couple of bolts in, just so it's not open to the elements. The guide as well is okay, by the way. But yeah, I'll just cover that back up so it's not open to the elements. And that is pretty much all I wanted to do on the motor wise. As I've stated earlier, the motor run really sweet. It was absolutely spot on. Wasn't missing a beat. Gearbox was fine, clutch was fine, etc. No strange noises coming from anywhere. But obviously, I just like to check the condition of these, and obviously you want to check your compression, which, as you can see, everything was fine. So everything else that I want to check, I'll be checking it as I take it off. So basically, like for instance, I'm going to be taking the swing arm off at some point. So when I take the back wheel out, I'll check the wheel bearings, make sure they're still nice and tight and no play in them and stuff. Then I'll check like the swing arm bearings. Now I'll probably replace them anyways, because the whole swing arm's coming apart, it's coming off, and everything's going to be getting taken off it. So I can, as I say, it's getting de-chromed and then powder coated black. So things that I'm checking as I go along, obviously I'll check them and I'll video it as I'm doing it, sort of thing. But the main thing I wanted to check was the wear on the tensioner shoes and the compression, and everything seems to be fine. So for now, that's it. Next, when I come back next, it'll be just a case of taking bits and pieces off. I have got a load of new parts. I've got a new front wheel, I've got new handlebars and risers. In fact, the handlebars and risers, that'll probably be the first thing that I do. Is I'll take the standard bars off and I'll mock up the new ape hangers that I've got and the new risers, because obviously I'll need to have a measure up for the brake line, clutch and the throttle cables. As I say, I'll check all them up, I'll check them out even as well, but I'll measure them up and then I can order what I need, because I don't think, to be truthful, I don't think the throttle cables are gonna be long enough. I've got a set of 14-inch apes and a set of 4-inch risers, so cables and pipes I don't think are going to be anywhere near long enough. Yeah, I've got a load of new bits, but you'll see them as it goes along. As I put them on, you'll see the new bits, obviously. So, and we'll go from there. So, but for now, that's it. I'll put this cover back on. As I say, I'm just going to put a couple of screws in the bottom, a couple in the top, and that'll be it. It's just to cover it up so it's not open to the elements. One, I need a new gasket, but two, the cover, it's got a few scratty bits on it where the chrome's starting to pit, so I think I'll just buy a new cover. Some people might think it's a bit OTT, but if you're going to do a bike and you're having it in bits anyways, you might as well have it right. But for now, that's it. So I'll catch you later when I start the next bit.